Hi, this is Summer with Summer's Tips and Stitches, and in this video I'm going to share with you a fun pattern. There's a written pattern and a tutorial online if you were interested in making this. And this is called, I'll show you the part that I have done, the Hugs and Kisses blanket. This is what the pattern looks like. I found this on the Crochet Crowd. I was heading over checking out Mikey's YouTube channel, and this is a pattern that one of his designer friends made. He made the tutorial, then I went to the Yarnspiration website and I printed it off. And as you can see, it is a regular row of double crochet, a row of the cross stitch or the X stitch, a row of bobble, another row of X stitch, and a row of double crochet. And in between each of those rows is a row of single crochet. This yarn is a Caron Big Cake called Sweet Roll. And I was shocked that this is all one cake would make. I thought it would make bigger. So I have had to order 2 off of eBay because they're discontinued and they don't have them at Michael's. The 2 skeins of yarn cost $20, which is about what they would be. I mean, not on sale, they'd be $9.99, right? Shipping and handling. So in a few days, I should get 2 more big cakes to finish up this blanket. I think that should be a decent size lap blanket. And it will have cost me. Now, my mom, I believe, got me the big cake quite a number of years ago for just, she drove down from where she lives in Door County to where I live in Oshkosh. There's a couple Michaels in between. I think she got them like at a birthday time or just got them to be nice. Or maybe I gave her money. I don't remember. But I've had this one for a while, so I finally made something with it. So I'm pretty excited to get those other cakes whenever they come in the mail. eBay is not like Amazon, so it's not going to take, 2 days. It's going to take probably a week. But in the meantime, I said, you know what? I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep making this blanket. So I went through my yarn hoard, and I thought, how can I get rid of a lot of yarn? And in this yarn cubby right here, behind my Summer's Tips and Stitches thing, this is where I stick my Bella Coco yarn. That's pretty much, as a side note, how I organize my yarn. I know it's weird. I don't do it by color. But this is my Bella Coco yarn. This is my Red Heart yarn. This is my Hobby Lobby yarn. At the top is some Lion Brand, And so over here is some yarn I got from Michael's. Over here are some Big Twist, Caron Simply Soft. This is my fancy yarn from the yarn shops. That's just how I organize it. That's just what I do. So anyway, I broke into my Bella Coco yarn. And at the height of the Corona quarantine last year, she sent out a big brown box that had like 7 or 8 skeins of yarn in them. And it was one of those things where I think that month, it was like, she called it a booster box. And I don't know. I don't remember if we got 2 boxes that month or if we got that too. I don't remember. But anyway, it was really cool. There was no treats in it, no pattern books. There was just a big box of rainbow yarn. And so I used all of the colors that she sent us, minus the brown and the white. And I am making this blanket, the Hugs and Kisses pattern from Mikey. But I'm doing it in the order of the rainbow, right? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. And I'm just letting it flow. I did sit here for a number of hours. No, for quite a while. Mapping out, I can show you here, the rows and how it goes: double crochet, single crochet, cross stitch, single crochet, bobble, single crochet, cross stitch, single crochet, double crochet, single crochet. And I was trying to figure out a way to have like all the bobbles be red or all the bobbles be yellow. But then I decided, no, you know what? I'm just going to pick up the color in rainbow order, do the pattern as Mikey's friend designed it, and see what happens. And it looks like it came to a 2-section repeat. So you start with a single crochet. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. And then there's a row. Here's the row of yellow bobbles. Here's the red bobble. And then when you get to the purple, as you can see, this next row, red, – it's like starting over here. So this is 1 section repeat. And then here it is again. So it repeated itself. It's very rainbowy, isn't it? Isn't that nice? And I love all those baubles. That's just what I decided to do. I mean, I did go around and round and think about doing my first, but I will say, you know what I'm saying? Like I was going to do all the rows of double crochet one color, all the rows of cross stitches one color, all the bobble stitches one color. And then I just decided, no, I'm going to do it rainbow. Now, I will say it's been a lot of work, and you would be so proud of me on weaving my ends. Every so often, I stop and I weave in the ends, and so I just have this little bit up here because I end up for every section having 2 strands to weave in. So I've been keeping up. All I have is my starting chain on this side, and then just a few up here. Looks like I've gone 3 rows without weaving in some ends. And it's looking really pretty. Is that nice? It is a very well written pattern. And the thing I like is I'm trying to be a better pattern reader. And so I really try to have, ooh, I had this blanket in my face the whole time. I try to read the pattern first and like really go through and read it. And then if I have any questions, I then like to consult the tutorial. And that has been really nice. But I'm going to be honest, again, like I said in my previous video, I went to the Yarnspiration website. I copied and pasted what they had on their blog site, because you know there's the ads, there's the pictures. Sometimes they have photos in there to help clarify. And I just copy and paste it into a Word document. And I bold the rows and I put an extra space so that I know, because I need to have that white space. I'm not going to say I'm dyslexic. That's crazy. But I'm going to say that I need to have the white space. I can't read a pattern that, you know, like sometimes on the back of those like brochures and the patterns are all like jammed up in little columns. I need to have the white space between each row. It just helps me read it better and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do from this spot to this spot. So that really helps me read the patterns when I do that. And so the pattern is very well written. One of the things that often confuses me in a pattern is if you are doing a row and then they have you chain 2 or chain 3, do you go in that first stitch or do you skip it? The reason it just baffles me every time is I feel like if you skip it, there's kind of like a little space there between that and the first, because that chain 3 or chain 2 isn't as fat or as thick as a real stitch, right? And so I always want to put one in there, and then I have to frog it and count it, and I always go round and round. And here it very explicitly says chain 1, single crochet in that same stitch. So I always like that about Mikey's patterns or the patterns on Yarnspiration, is because they very clearly tell you you're going to do something in that first stitch or you're going to skip it. And so I like that. And I make I wouldn't say quite a few, but I have made a few things over the years. One of my favorite star blanket patterns I make is a Yarnspiration. My mitten pattern is Yarnspiration. The virus shawl that I printed off was one of Mikey's. So I really do like how they write that. For me, the way they write it makes sense. Whereas sometimes if I'm reading a pattern made by a different human or Red Heart, I'm always in that spot going, okay, do I crochet in this stitch or do I skip it? Anyway, so I just wanted to show you that. I'll put a link in the description to the Yarnspiration link where you can go to print off your pattern. Now remember, when it comes to that Yarnspiration page, there's going to be a lot of riffraff on there. There's going to be advertisements, there's going to be links to different yarns or hooks that you're going to want to buy, and then there's also links to other things that have this Hugs and Kisses pattern, because they've designed a hat that has it. So you'll have to scroll a little bit till you actually get to the pattern. I always get caught in that where I don't read it. I'm just skimming across and I'm trying to find the pattern. You'll have to scroll a bit before, and it's at the bottom. I'll also put a link in the description to Mikey's pattern tutorial in case you want to skip all that and just watch him make it. And then I believe he does have a right and left hand link to that. So I'll put those in there. And then also, just for the heck of it, I'll put a link to Bella Coco, because I did get all of this yarn from her booster box last year. I don't believe they have that booster box available anymore. It was for sale on her page for a while, but it's not there. And that's really what I have been working on this last week. I finished up the sweaters at the end of the previous week. And this week I've just been sitting on the couch, crocheting, because obviously I'm on summer vacation. I went to Bible study. I took Flynn to a couple therapies. And then I've just been carrying around in my, this is actually an old 31 bag. I've just been carrying this around with me upstairs. And all my yarn fits nicely in the bottom. And it's been really nice the last couple days. I take this outside if I want to watch the boys scooter or sit on the patio table. But yeah, I pretty much have the pattern memorized now. I don't need to, but I brought this down just to show you guys because I was just talking when I was in my previous video talking about these sweaters, how I copy and paste from the website into a Google document. I just highlight what I want, right click it, put it in here. And then after I put it in the document, whether Word or Google, then I go through and I add in my spaces. I bold the chains and the rows. I do list, I mean, most of this page I didn't need, but I just want to keep it. And so eventually lists all the stitches you'll need and what supplies you need. And then it explains how to do the bobble and the cross stitch or their X stitch. And then I'm going to slip this, when I'm all done, into a plastic sleeve. And then I'm going to put it in my binder here, which is going to save me because if it ever gets taken down, I'm going to have a paper copy over here, just like my whole Kelly sweater fiasco, right? Yeah, so that's that. You guys have gotten a lot of excitement out of me this morning. We had planned to do a camping trip. My husband's friends were going to go camping and they have a camper. And so we were going to join them and we just went out and bought this enormous tent and a few supplies. And we were going to join them. And then we looked at the weather forecast and it's supposed to rain all the days. And my husband doesn't want to go now because he doesn't want the tent to get moldy. Because we don't have a yard where we live. We live in a condominium. We own our condo and there's 11 other people that own them and our houses are all together. And we just don't have a yard to set it up and let it dry out before we would pack it up. And it also says it's against the rules to set tents up in your yard. So now it's just like, what are we going to do? Our kids are disappointed. We just made this decision this morning. And so now I said, well, honey, I got to quick go make some YouTube videos. And then we'll upload them and we'll just try to decide what to do from there. So that's what we're going to try to decide. What are we going to do instead? Because my husband has these days off. We were initially going to go to Alaska, but then COVID happened and our family didn't want us going up there because our kids couldn't be vaccinated. All the kids are under 12, so not going to Alaska. Then we were going to go to Florida with my husband's sister. But then that got canceled because of COVID, because if you leave the state of Wisconsin, the Department of Corrections makes you quarantine for another 10 days. So therefore, he doesn't have enough vacation days to make the trip worthwhile because then he has to still quarantine for 10 days. And we're not going to go to Florida for 4 days and then quarantine for 10. Ugh. So then we're like, okay, we'll take these vacation days and we're going to go camping instead. And now it's raining. So it's kind of been a bummer for the kids. I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to completely cry about it because I'd much rather just stay at my house and make YouTube videos and crochet. But the kids are not impressed. So we have to figure that out. That's what good parents do, right? You take your kids places and you do fun things and you take pictures. And then 20 years from now, you laugh at how crazy you used to dress and the weird ways you did your hair, right? All right, you guys, that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching and subscribing. Thanks for liking and sharing my videos. And until the next video, happy crafting. Bye.